Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Tommy Cheek. You're watching Cheeky Garage. If it's your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. And today, guys, exciting news from my little YouTube channel. I hit 1,000 subs. We're at 1,070 and some change right now. And so today, I figured do something a little different and give you guys a tour of the actual Cheeky Garage. So sit tight. Okay, so we'll start by a little bit of the history. My wife and I bought this house in 2014. It's our first house, and to say that this house was a fixer-upper is a bit of an understatement. We had to look past quite a bit when we first bought, and we've been making strides over the years, the garage being one of them. I love how big it is, especially for a first home. But it didn't always look this nice. It was very dungeonous to begin with, and I'll throw pictures up and show you what we've done over the years. But the house is 1,800 square feet, so the garage is the whole footprint of the house, essentially the basement. So therefore the garage is about 900 square feet. Okay, first off, and the most obvious thing of the garage that really makes it stand out is the floor. And it has not always been like this. It was nasty. It was bare concrete, oil stained. It had probably some do-it-yourself garage floor coating on it many moons ago, and just was not attractive, very nice in any way, shape, or form when we first bought it. And a friend of mine I went to college with started a small business with a relative of his called Classic Garage Solutions, where they do like professional concrete finishes. And we were talking about it, and I was like, you know what, I love it. I love the idea of having a nice garage floor. I love the idea of helping out a friend grow his business, and it was just kind of a win-win all the way around. So they came in with this big like industrial concrete grinder, ground it all down, fresh concrete, and then it was like well, let me back up. Everything in the garage got put in a little trailer I borrowed from another buddy and sat in the driveway for a little while. And then so they came in, they ground it, and they sprayed the walls. They sealed and painted. They sealed and painted all the walls, the concrete walls, and then did the floor. And it was like, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 coats of epoxy, but they floated the epoxy out. They threw the flake down, and then they came back, and I think it's 2, maybe 3 coats of clear over the top. And man, what a night and day difference. If you've kept up with the channel, you know my S10 that I'm building, I pulled the old motor out and transmission, and I had pretty much every fluid that is in a vehicle on this floor, and it literally just wipes up. You know, it's super easy. Just sweep, hit it with a quick mop. I use a little sponge mop with some hot water and dish soap, and I mean, you can walk around in here barefoot any day. I absolutely love it. The only downside, well, I'd say there's 2. One is I'm afraid to mess it up, so I take it a little easy, rolling the floor jack, and you know, kicking jack stands and just dragging stuff around. I try to be more gentle now, compared to how I used to be, as well as it is very slippery when it's wet. So if you decide, excuse me, if you decide to do something like this in your own home or your own shop, if you pull a car in and it's been raining and you get puddles on the floor, just be really careful, and just be really careful. The guy that picked the old motor up can attest. When we were hoisting it into the bed of his pickup truck. Coolant spilled everywhere, and it was an ice skating rink. But other than that, I absolutely love it. It's super easy to clean. If I could change one thing about it, as far as it for like function in like a working type shop, I probably wouldn't do the flake again. I would probably just do a solid color, and that is just because if you drop a little small bolt, it kind of almost camouflages itself into the floor. And so sometimes, as ridiculous as it feels, I get down like on my hands and knees and have to get like this so you can see, you know, the 3 dimensions, the actual height of the bolt, because it'll sometimes a little tiny screw or something like that, it'll get lost in the flake. But other than that, I love it. Would highly recommend it, especially if it's residential home. I would imagine it does nothing but good things for property value, and especially if it's, you know, a high quality thing like this that'll stand the test of time. I don't think you can go wrong, and I think you'll love it too. Now, part of that whole garage renovation ordeal was this little nook here. You know, it's part of the stairwell that goes up to the living quarters of the home. This used to just be a studded wall. Everything in the garage was completely unfinished. There was no drywall here. You know, the concrete, it was just all raw for, you know, 20 plus years. That's another thing. It had just the damp, just kind of musty basement smell. And if you're in the South, where the humidity's through the roof all year long, you know what smell I'm talking about if you're on a basement. And if I knew the improvement that came with doing all this, if I knew it was going to change it as drastically as it did, it would have been one of the first things we did at the house. It just smells completely neutral down here. There's still no HVAC, so it's still humid, but it just smells. There isn't a smell. It just is now, and I love it. It's fantastic. But anyways, so all those were studs, and it was all just stud. There was no recess here. There was a little joke of a little plywood door here, but you couldn't access this. I mean, this is the width of the stairs. You know, it's not very wide. You couldn't get anything of any size through that little door. So I knew that I wanted, it's kind of, let me back up, it's kind of goofy looking in shape, but it's, you know, it's precious storage area in a garage. I knew I wanted access to it before I did the floor. So I'll throw some pictures up here. But I went and I built a little temporary wall, and I knocked the studs out, and I made a beam and installed the beam, and then knocked the wall out, and then framed in like underneath the stairs and you know, the diagonal there, and drywalled it all in. And I never want to do drywall again. I've done it a few times. I've proven to myself I can do it, and I've proven to myself I freaking hate doing it. But I'm really pleased with the results. So yeah, you know, that was, I'm not a drywall professional by any stretch of the imagination, and I did that, and then I did this over here. You know, this was all studs too. I cased open right there to keep under the landing as just kind of an unfinished little storage area. I keep, you know, metal and scrap metal and lumber and just random stuff just kind of out of sight in there. So that was the drywall adventure in this garage renovation series. There still needs to be more done, but I need to move that water line a little bit, and need to do some stuff over here in the corner with the coax, and I'd like to run electrical on this side of the garage. So that isn't done yet. I do have the drywall. It has been sitting here forever. I'm not eager to do more drywall, but it does still need to be done. But other than that, this makes really good storage for, you know, big stuff like the engine hoist and the big fan and engine stand and stuff like that. This is the left side of the garage. Just got a workbench, pretty hefty little guy from Craigslist. Currently got a wiring harness out here I'm re-looming. But this is kind of my dirty side of the garage, if you will. I do a lot of cutting, grinding, disassembly. I've built, gosh, a number of axles. This thing's been covered in gear oil more times than I can count. I got damn near a whole S10 worth of parts inside there right now. And then I have the stuff I wish I had a shed for. Just the lawn stuff, homeowner stuff. I'd love to get a shed, but you know, there's other things I need to spend my money on, and I'd rather spend my money on. So we still have the yard crap in the garage. Luckily I can deal with it. These are my welders, both Lincoln Electric. This is my Tig Welder. It's the Square Wave Tig 200, and this is a multi-process machine, but it's pretty much my dedicated wire feeder. It is the PowerMig 210 MP. They are great for homeowner use, light industrial, home hobbyist type of stuff. You know, they're not super high-end machines, but they've got decent options. You know, you can play with a little bit of pulse and some AC balance and some other stuff on the TIG setup here. My only real complaint about this, obviously it's not a super powerful machine, but I knew that. You know, it is what it is, a 200 amp machine, but it's got a little bit of a violent arc start. So I mean, it's probably not what you want if you're doing some really precise thin stuff like razor blade challenge type of stuff. But other than that, it does fine for your average car guy, home hobbyist stuff. I don't think you can go wrong with these two. I know Miller's got a new machine out that, you know, it's pretty much both of these machines combined. It wasn't out when I bought these, but they get the job done. That's the Harbor Freight cart. I hate it. It sucks. Would not recommend it. But I mean, it does have drawers. You can keep consumables and everything, and your gloves and blah blah blah. Pretty close, but it's big. It's bulky. I wish I would have just probably made my own. But yeah, that's my welding setup. Going over here to the right side of the garage. Obviously, you can still see here. There's no telling what did this. Maybe a dog. I'm not entirely sure. It's on both sides. I mean, this is a glimpse of the house that we bought. And obviously it's still unfinished. It's on the list. Don't sue me. Little welding table. It's not flat by any means, but I just made it out of some stuff we had at work. It gets the job done. I love this belt sander. For anybody that's in the market for a relatively inexpensive belt sander, I would totally recommend this. It's made by Buck Tool. It says professional woodworking on it, but I will tell you, you can take like 1/4-inch stainless plate and bury the corner. If you're trying to round a corner, you can bury it in this thing, and it absolutely does not bog down. It is direct drive, not belt driven like your cheapos from the big box stores. Highly recommend for home hobbyist type of application. This is the right side of the garage here. It's kind of a nook. It kind of shoots out this way. I've got my old, I think it's 20-gallon, super loud, I hate using it, air compressor. I do have a 60-gallon over there. It's not technically mine. It's kind of on long-term borrow from a friend, and I haven't figured out a real good place to put it, so it's just kind of sitting over there on cardboard, and I've got Romex all wound up on the top of it, and I can kind of plug it and unplug it as I need to use it. But there's my 20-gallon. It's an old Delta drill press. It makes a really good extension cord holder, and that's about all I use it for. It's got a good wobble to it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it'll work in a pinch, but I try not to use it too much. A new drill press is one of those things I'd love to get, but just haven't pulled the trigger on it. a tiny little Black & Decker bench grinder. Got it for free probably over a decade ago from a friend of mine. It was sitting in his shed. It does the job. It's a bench grinder. Harbor Freight press. One of those tools where it's like, man, I don't, you know, I guess it'd be nice to have, but I don't really know what I'd use it for. And then you use it all the time. Would highly recommend. I've probably done 10 or more gear sets, just pressing bearings on and off on carriers and pinion gears and what have you. I mean, I keep a little, you can see I keep a little bin of old bearing races and some, you know, some gas pipe deals to, you know, you just kind of use what you got to get the job done. But bushings, ball joints, bearings, I mean, it comes in so handy. You never know when you need a press. Keep my jack stands, keep my floor jack over here. This is like the gray Harbor Freight corner. And one of my new favorite tools, the 18 volt cordless Milwaukee shop vac. I love that thing. I drag it out in the driveway, vacuum out the cars and stuff. No drop cords. It's great. Then you go to the crown jewel, if you will, of the garage, my garage cabinets. And this was a splurge. This was totally not needed, but I'm so glad that I pulled the trigger, and mainly that my wife let me pull the trigger on these, because you can fit so much stuff in these. It is unreal. I mean, that's just one cabinet, and there's probably 30 or 40 aerosol cans in there or something like that. I don't know if it's that many, but and you got the big lockers on the side. Just got oh, you can't see that at all. Just a bunch of homeowner stuff, yard stuff, paint stuff, blow mold cases. You know, that's my junkyard running toolkit. These are made by a company called NewAge. I'll post a link in the description, and this is like their budget line. This is the lowest tier, and I'm super happy with them. They're relatively thin sheet metal, but they do the job, and they keep everything hidden. And that, I used to have nothing but open shelves, and I mean, aside from it just looking kind of messy and disorganized, you know, being a welder, my hobbies include getting stuff dirty and, you know, just throwing sparks and putting dust in the air, and everything on the shelf would just get filthy. And now it doesn't, because it's hidden and it looks nice and stuff stays clean, and I love it. And the center cabinet here, the little toolbox guy, wheels unlock, you can roll it out of the way, pull a stool up. I've ran power all the way from the breaker, 20 amp breaker, and Romex to the ceiling to junction box there, and then hard conduit down, then it comes down at 90s, and then it comes along here the back. You know, I kind of had to put some fern strips off of the back of the cabinets. I wired some under cabinet lighting, and then an outlet next to the switch, another, you know, 4 outlets, and then it keeps going on around all the way around. This garage severely lacked in power when we first moved in. There's only there's only one builder installed outlet other than the ones for the garage door openers in the ceiling. So I did that. I need to do it to the other side of the garage still, but that'll be for another day. And then this is my toolbox. Just a Husky, kind of a big boy from Home Depot. I have my my small Milwaukee collection. You know, it's just your standard stuff, nothing crazy, you know. It's not slam packed really, but gotta be careful with this drawer. It's getting a little heavy. I have contemplated getting another toolbox because my socket drawer might be a little much for the Home Depot box here, but so far, just other than being careful with the big drawer, it has been just fine for here at the house. Again, I'm not a professional anything. This is not a place of business or anything. This is I'm just an average Joe with a garage. There's more truck parts there. Sorry I didn't clean it all out, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is where it's at, where it's come from. So that's it. That's the garage tour. That is Cheeky Garage. Guys, I want to say thank you if you've stuck through the whole video. I know it's a little different than normal, but I just wanted to do something a little different, maybe a little special. Let everybody in, get a full view of what Cheeky Garage is. 1,000 subs, man. I think that's kind of a big deal. I think it's a little mind-blowing that there's that many people out there that want to see me ramble on and wrench in my garage, and it's kind of humbling, you know. This garage is kind of, it does set a decent background for a YouTube channel, for at least a little channel like mine. You know, I'm not doing anything crazy exciting, but yeah, you know, looking back at how far the garage has come, you know, I feel humbled. I feel blessed to have a space like this to enjoy, to do, you know, things I want to do, things that make me happy, and to be able to do those things and bring over 1,000 people along with me for the ride. You know, it's pretty cool, you know, and we all have those days when you know, you're just kind of down on yourself, you know, in a funk, whatever, things aren't going your way. And this is like my, I don't know, my zen space, if you will. Like I can kind of come down here and just look around and think to myself, you know, like look at this. I have a garage that's bigger than me and my wife's first apartment, and it kind of, you know, it kind of brings me back to earth, and it makes me appreciate the things that I have and the work that I've put into those things, and the work I've put into being able to achieve those things. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I never thought I would have a space like this. I really feel super blessed to have a space like this. I mean, you know, you have a space like this, and then you see 3-car garages or separate buildings, and you know, that's human nature, to always want more or to strive for more. But at the end of the day, I really love the space that I have here, the things that I'm able to do, and everything I've done to the garage only helps me enjoy it more. And I mean, I don't know what I don't know what else to say. It really is just kind of my it's my happy place. And no, it's not perfect. Yes, there's a ton that could be improved, but overall, I'm very happy with it. I'm very lucky to have it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, my name's Tommy Cheek. You've watched Cheeky Garage. You've seen the tour now. And if you like what you see, feel free, like, subscribe, leave comments below. And till next time, y'all have a good one.